I mean, the other one to me seems like a no-brainer. I don't know if you guys share the same sentiment just because it's already on the property. But with this one, I think it's very important. I constantly see people dumping over there all the time, just dumping, you know, who knows, but honestly, pulling up with trucks, dumping stuff and leaving. It's a huge problem with wildlife. A lot of our neighbors around, we all share, I'm sure a lot of you know, the groundhogs, the deer are a huge problem, and that is like a 5-star resort over there for them. They just love it, you know, they got so much space to do their thing over there. So the goal with, I don't want to get too much into that because that's kind of for next meeting, but the goal is to really come in, clean that up, and start more production of food that, you know, more staple foods, like, and expanding our lineup. So mushrooms, some nuts, different things like that that we can, just to continue to increase our food security, right? So yeah, that's really my mission. And also I just want to say while I'm up here too, like, we gotta, I really am passionate about coming together more as a Black community. I feel like, you know, all the other ethnic communities like Asian, they got their own grocery stores, they got their own restaurants, and they all support each other and support each other's business. Same thing with Mexican, they got their own groceries. You know, you got grocery store that's all Mexican products, Mexican owned, they got their own restaurants. We need Black restaurants, we need Black grocery stores, we need Black farms, we need all that stuff. So I, you know, just ask you guys to support me in this mission to just, you know, increase access to local food, increase our food security. Let's, you know, not wake up thinking about what are we, you know, because there's people real life right now who wake up and they don't know where the next meal's gonna come from. They're food insecure, right? They wake up and they gotta, you know, strategize, how can we feed all these kids and feed ourselves today? So this is the work that we're doing, is to eliminate that, teach people how to grow their own food, increase local food access. It goes a lot deeper than that, but we already kind of, I don't know what our time limit is, but I don't want to go too much into it, but happy to answer any questions.
So, I see Marcel and then Damon. Any others? Okay, Marcel.
Just referring back to the actual lands or the properties being frozen, is this a frozen property as well? They're all frozen? Okay, all right, just making sure. I didn't know if this was the same type of thing.
Yeah.
And then also with that land across the street, is that something that the neighbors, I guess at that point, you don't necessarily have to check in with the neighbors to buy the land and do what you want to do? Is that something that we would have to kind of survey the area for that, I guess?
Yeah, I do check in with the neighbors,
okay,
just because, you know, you know, if someone lives right across the street from a property that we're thinking about doing something on, I want to get their support fully. We luckily have a really great relationship with all our, you know, direct adjacent neighbors, and they've actually expressed interest in, like, when I told them, like, hey, we might be thinking about trying to do something with this, they're like, go, they love the idea, mainly because, well, to be honest, the main person I talked to about it was my neighbor, Miss Marilyn, and she does a garden in front of her house too, and she was like, I can't harvest anything, the groundhogs eat it every time before I harvest it, and that was kind of her concern. She's like, I see them running from right across there, like, I know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So on the slide that is on this one, the long-term goals are for this to be the phase 2 of Sunlight. So right here where it says discuss the garden lease with CCLBA about mushrooming garden, holding the property for cleanup and beautification, and then consider a skilled trades training spot for the grant workforce. So that was one of the long-term goals that we didn't talk about, but specifically on the Oneida side, and then the adjacent 2 blue properties are owned by the city of Battle Creek.
David.
Yeah, I want to say, man, I appreciate what you're doing and where you're doing it at. I kind of have, I guess, a conflict of interest in this because me and Ravon, we partner with doing different food things. We get food from him, get it passed out to the community. I just want to just talk about the importance of that food piece, man, especially in our community. There is a food that's
I'm gonna pause you for 1 minute because staff brought something to my attention. As we talk about conflict of interest, seeing that you have a partnership with Sunlight Gardens, as you had talked about before with the conflict of interest with some folks with Pastor French, we're asking that you not comment or vote on things where a conflict of interest exists.
And I respect that, and the vote part, that's why I spoke up and said conflict of interest, but I can't, I mean, I feel like I should be able to at least comment.
You can't comment or be part of the discussion. When you have.
Good job with your business, man.
I appreciate you, David. Definitely, I appreciate everything you do too, bro.
Arnice, and then Shanae.
I probably should already know this, but I just wanted clarification. So this property that Hex wanted to purchase and that you're interested in, they're all commercial? They're not?
This is residential.
Oh, this is residential, okay. Because I know there were all houses there. So how does that work?
So, we had to do a lot of fighting, with the city commission and things like that to get, I don't want to call it fighting, but I guess a lot of work to, get a special use permit to say that we can build hoop houses and we can grow produce, sell produce, that kind of thing. So, to be completely transparent and honest, a lot of that groundwork was put in before I bought the property. So they had already had the special use permit. And I have a copy of it, happy to share it with you guys. Basically, it's from my understanding, Jeremy, the guy who owns Sprout, wrote up, their site plan. It's literally like a hand-drawn thing. And it has a lot of details of what's gonna happen there. And my understanding, they brought it to the city commission, got it approved that way. But like I said, that was done before.
A hoop house is like a hot house for vegetables or something?
Yeah, it's like a greenhouse that just doesn't have any electricity necessarily to it. It's passive solar. Yeah.
So around you would be all homes, but you would be in the middle of that residential area, and you have a permit for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, several years back, the planning commission is where it starts when you want a special use permit. If they approve it to move to the city commission and the city commission approves it, then they're able to operate using that special use permit. I think it was Shanae next.
I just have a question. So the little orange part that you're asking about now,
Yeah.
because I live over there, so I'm very familiar with what it looks like. So that part wouldn't be any more like development of like produce or anything. That's just so you can have like signage space or?
No. So like I was kind of saying, to be honest, we thought we had that property when we bought it already. So we, the first is we grew some stuff there.
Okay.
We did grow stuff there. We found out we didn't have it. We kind of laid back a little bit so we actually get it. There's a sign post there, but no, it's a whole there's a nice field there that we will be growing produce in.
Okay, I just didn't know if you wanted that, so you could put like a display Sunlight Gardens and have like announcements. Like sometimes you see it like Arboretum when they're having something coming up. I know you mentioned down the line a possible wedding venue or big space.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were looking for that space to have for signage,
Yeah,
Okay.
that necessarily wouldn't be that space. That would be, so our farm, we just got environmentally verified. So we were gonna hang our environmental verification there, Sunlight Garden sign, and then that more information will probably be like on the front of the building. Maybe have like a tack board or something like that with a lot of information on there. That would more be in the front of the building, though.
So you're using that to like grow more produce? and things like that?
Exactly, yeah, expand our growing.
Thank you.
Yep.
I think Heather had a question.
All right, so I'm really super excited with what you're doing because I'm very passionate about this as well and studied it in high school. And we are in a food desert. And I think our kids in the community need to learn how to grow things as well. I did a small garden project at Northwestern, and just the amount of kids that didn't even know how to plant something or use basic garden tools was really shocking to me. So I'm super, super excited about this, and we do need this. And I love that you're using hoop houses. That's environmentally friendly and economical. And then you can grow things in the winter as well. So this is like a hoop houses allow you to grow things year round. So you can provide fresh produce for the community in the winter as well, which is, I think, important to know. I don't know if that's in your plans or not.
Oh, yeah.
But, and then the wedding venue, that's phase 2, maybe?
So, yeah, I mean, in my head, it's phase one. I don't know how it plays into this, but, so we were recipient of the E-Fund also.
Okay.
So there's a portion of those resources will be used to create a wedding venue and event space. And very quickly, the idea behind that is, I had a friend who's trying to get married, from our neighborhood, and they went out to my friend owns a farm called Green Gardens. They charge $10,000 for a wedding. And he's like, hey, who can afford that? Right, and literally on a farm, so who can afford that? So our goal and vision with that is like, okay, let's make something affordable for the community, something very nice, also affordable. So we actually do have our first wedding scheduled for 2023. And so that gives us a lot of time to beautify the whole property and make it, that's our goal, is to, southern exposure level. Like, we want people to really, we don't want to see people get married at the courthouse because they can't afford a venue, right? Let's make this a beautiful space for everyone. And then it goes deeper into open houses, birthday parties, just a space that people can have access to,
And no, I love that idea, and we need that as well locally. 2 questions, unrelated. Parking, how would parking work for the wedding venues? And then also, is your farming, are you doing more organic farming? Are you using like pesticides?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. Yeah, so with the parking, right now we have some on-site parking, and then we have people just kind of park parallel on the street.
Okay.
And then for your second question, yes, we are completely organic. We use organic practices. I went to MSU's organic farmer training program, graduated from there, so I use all organic practices, and like I was kind of saying, we got environmentally verified. So basically, Michigan Environmental Agency came out, we tell them how we farm, show them all their practices, and they just, I wanted to do that to just make sure that we are being environmentally responsible, right? Since we're around neighborhoods, since we're in the neighborhood, especially doing urban farming. So yeah, we got verified. He said, everything you guys are doing is fine.
Okay.
Told me, a couple things to maybe not do and all this type of stuff, but yeah, so we are environmentally friendly, and then we do use all organic practices. We don't do any like Roundup or any kind of spray like that.
Okay, perfect. That's one thing I was concerned about, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that, I like what you're doing as well. I think it's very well needed, for sure. Just about the properties where you want to create new opportunities for the community, is that area zoned for that?
The light orange right here?
Yeah.
So that, I believe, is just on residential right now. So that would be another battle we gotta fight to be able to grow some more stuff. But I think it's a battle worth fighting, because right now it's just being dumped on. And if we can grow things there, what's cool about mushrooms is that you grow them above the ground in logs. So we wouldn't be putting ourselves at risk with that soil, because who knows what people have been dumping there. And we will, if we end up getting it, do the soil test and figure out if it's safe to grow in. But the mushrooms, you can, like I said, you grow them above ground anyways. Thank you.
I do have one more question.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Are you going to keep it just plant-based, or is the goal to expand to animals too?
That's a good question. Animals is a little bit out of my radar, specifically because I do urban farming, and I'm not trying to have chickens waking people up at 6 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want that across the street from me. Cows mooing at 5 a.m., you know what I'm saying? Like, as cool as it would be, I think that is probably something maybe further down the road in a more rural property. But yeah, for the urban farming, we just keep it fruit and vegetables.
Okay,
Mushrooms.
thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sweet and I were on the neighborhood planning council when they came before us with that special use permit initially to get that property. There had been some concerns as the property before it transferred to you had kind of gone down, and we were in the BC2 was starting to get a lot of complaints and concerns, and so we're glad that things are working out.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the work you guys put in to make it possible too, and so yeah, definitely thankful for that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you for that, and we'll go to the last one, and to the last one and get the staff presentation and then the case study applicants presentation. I do want to pause for a minute. We generally go 6 to 7:30. We do have the one more case study to go through. So I just wanted to pause and just double check. Can most folks stay through that, or when you do have to go, you have to go?
I had to recuse myself because I'm on the board.
Yeah, there's a few people that have to. We figured that out the last time, that I think Mr. McKinley,
Janae
Settles, Janae, you and Damon,
And
Ms. Shirley. So we had 6 individuals that are connected to this case study that will have to recuse themselves from the conversation as well as discussion, as well as any votes that take place.
Can I ask you to restate who those are so I have them?
Yes, that's Dennis McKinley, Shanae Settles, Damon Brown, Shirley McKinley, Dr. Johnson, and Janasia Morris.
So
And in addition, yes.
before because if this will be the end of the agenda, I'll leave. If this will be the end of the presentation. But my other question then is, when it comes time to vote on matters such as these, this will affect quorum if there are a great majority of us who are.
So
how does that work?
As you heard Krista mention earlier, governing documents is also the bylaws, the role of the alternate, the conflict of interest policy,
Right.
are all things that they hope to bring before us in the coming meetings
Yes, in August.
in August. And so we'll have some more clarity, but as we get into this discussion, the alternates are here, so they are able to participate in those
Do we
discussions.
have them?
I would like everybody who does not have a conflict of interest on this next item to raise your hand, because I cannot keep that in my mind.
Does not, is what you're.
Does not.
Oh.
Okay,
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's with the alternates. So we make a motion, we have the alternates participate in this discussion. And then we don't really have.
That will get us to quorum then.
We don't really have anything on the motion statement, except kind of how we put it together in the beginning. But I've had lots of conversations with legal counsel.
Okay.
and because this is an advisory committee, we have flexibility in how we work with the alternates, which is great.
And the committee members can be involved in that conversation and vote.
The alternates. I'm sorry, which committee members?
I mean, as far as allowing the alternates to
Serve as committee
serve as
members.
committee members. Everybody can participate in that vote, or even those 6 have to recuse themselves. I'm trying to get clarity.
Okay.
On the part about us voting on the 2 alternates being
Oh.
activated.
Oh, I think everybody could vote on activating the
On Yes.
activating the alternates for this item
Conversation.
because of the conflict of interest.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's what I was saying.
Understood.
All right, so,
I'm sorry.
Okay, Ms. Janie has a question?
I just want you to clarify, who are the ones that are not a part of the vote? I thought you said 9.
she was trying, there's 9 of us, so she was just trying to say, with the alternates, who is left, who is not a part of.
And that's what I wanted to clarify, who those people.
Who those 9 are?
Yes.
Okay. Myself, Mr. Sweet, you can raise your hands back up. Regina Freeman, Heather France, Cynthia. We're coming back up here.
Sherelle.
And Sherelle, oh yeah, I forgot her hand was not. Mr. Heath, Mr. Bond, and, did I get everybody?
I'm totally blanking on your name back there, not you.
Fleming.
Yes, Fleming, sorry.
Did you get Cynthia?
So I have,
You're good?
Okay.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to activate, for this discussion only, is what we're talking about, to activate our 2 alternates, Cynthia Fleming and Sherelle Cotton.
Oh, I agree to that. That's to activate them.
It's been moved by Heather France. And seconded by Shanae Settles to activate our two alternates for the discussion of case study number 3. Is there any further discussion? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. That is unanimous.
Okay, great. I would like to get some the new business items if we